Okay, it takes about 10 seconds and then we'll be good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're live streaming now.
Okay, morning everybody. Welcome to this specially called TAC meeting. At first, I'd like to thank Sharon for stepping in for me the last couple of meetings. I've had some personal issues back home in Wisconsin. I've been flying back and forth a little bit, so just like to thank her for stepping in last second. Thank you, Sharon. I will start with Chet for the statement regarding the virtual meetings.
Thank you, Kelly. We are continuing to operate in a virtual setting for the TAC, and we have provided means for people who are not members to join in the meeting. There is a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen for anyone who is attending that wishes to ask questions of staff or committee members during the meeting. We also are live streaming this on our YouTube channel, so it can be reviewed at a later date. At this point, I don't think we have anyone from the general public as an attendee. It looks like everybody who is in our other room is staff. So that's the statement. I'd be happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Okay, any questions for Chet? All right, thank you, sir. Janice, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Town of Ashland, Miss Amos.
Here.
Chesterfield County, Miss Smith.
Here.
Miss Walker. Goochland County, Mr. Coleman. Mr. Coleman.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Goyne. Hanover County, Mr. Vidunez.
Here.
Mr. Flagg.
Here.
Henrico County, Vice Chair Smidler.
Here.
Mr. Ure. New Kent County, Chair LeDuc.
Here.
Powhatan County, Mr. Shardine.
Here.
City of Richmond, Miss Clark.
Ms. Clark just emailed me and said she's running about 5 minutes late.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bridewell. Capital Region Airport Commission, Mr. Rutledge. DRPT, Ms. Dubinsky.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Sparks. GRTC, Ms. Sink.
Here.
Ms. Robinson.
Here.
Plan RVA, Mr. Parsons.
Here.
Mr. Ariel.
Here.
Ride Finders, Ms. Tisdale. Mr. O'Keefe.
Here.
RMTA, Ms. Simmons. VDOT, Ms. McAdory. Ms. Mueller.
Here.
Thank you. That concludes the roll call, and we do have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Janice.
You're
Are
welcome.
there any amendments to the abbreviated agenda this morning? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the February minutes, and I will abstain since I was not present for that meeting.
Sharon Smidler, so moved.
Thank you, Sharon. Is there a second?
John O'Keefe, I'll second.
Thank you, John. All in favor of approval of the minutes?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Right, anybody opposed? And like I said, I'll abstain. Thank you. Is there any open public comment period?
We have no request for the floor for public comment at this time.
All right. So we will get right into the meat of the agenda. I'll turn it over to Mr. Parsons and Mr. Bushing.
Thank you very much. I think Miles is going to do a lot of the driving for this section, but this is a special call TAC meeting to discuss the regional smart scale applications, specifically the pre-applications. So we're looking at a list of 12 pre-apps that are able to be submitted by RRTPO for round 5 of smart scale. There was a preliminary discussion that was, I believe it was sent out to everybody prior to the last TAC meeting. It was not included on the agenda because there were multiple requests to have reconsideration of the list, and that's why the meeting was called today. In terms of our time frame, we do need to have some direction, staff needs direction from the TAC today, so that we can get agendas out on Thursday for our March policy board meeting, March 3rd, and they can take action for approval of staff to develop the pre-application materials by the end of March. So I think that frames the discussion. I think Miles was going to take some time to review what the staff's recommendations were and any additional items that were submitted by member jurisdictions. And then really the purpose of this meeting is to open the floor for discussion about the overall slate of projects and how the TAC would like to move forward with a recommendation to the policy board. Miles?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So this is just a quick abbreviated presentation, kind of get you up to date on how we got to the list that we recommended and then the changes that have been requested since then. So as you all know, Smart Scale is the primary process for obtaining transportation construction funding in the state. Regional bodies like the TPO are eligible to submit projects on the corridors of statewide significance or regional network needs. We're not eligible for UDA or safety projects. Due to our size, we can submit 10 final applications and we get 2 additional pre-apps, so 12 in total. So the process that staff took was to look at a bigger project pool. We started from the CVTA regional applications. That's primarily what we were pulling from. We also looked at the Smart Scale Round 4 applications, the RSTP CMAQ applications, and the locality requests that we received. So in total, we had about 40 projects. And then the screening process was essentially looking at everything that we could. We started with the VTrans need, making sure that it met one of those COSS or regional network needs. Then we looked at the constrained plan for Connect RVA 2045, essentially, and I'll go into this in a second, but regional projects needed to be listed in the constrained plan. Then we looked at functional classification. Since these are intended to be regional applications, we prioritize the higher functional classifications, primarily principal arterials and above. And then the rest of this was more of, will the project be able to get through the Smart Scale process? So we were looking to make sure we had an estimate and a sketch that we could use to submit, whether there'd been supporting studies that would be needed, like an IMR or anything like that might be needed. And if we had previous Smart Scale experience, if the project had already gone through Smart Scale, the assumption was we'd be able to get through the process again. And the last 2 pieces we looked at, one was pending application. So basically we were prioritizing anything that had a pending request out there. If there was a potential to get money, we might have leveraging that we could use for the applications, which would help them to score better. And then the last piece was regional balance. We were trying to make sure that the entire region was represented with our selections. So back to that Connect RVA consistency, you've seen this all before, but this is the flow chart that we sort of use. It's not as black and white, obviously, but essentially every project is either a regional project or it's local programmatic. This is defined in the LRTP. If it's local, it's always eligible. If it's regional, it needs to be listed in the constrained plan. Otherwise, it's not consistent with the plan. And then anything that's not listed is not eligible. And this is the general process for MPO endorsements. Obviously, the policy board can always endorse a project that's not listed in there, but this is the process that staff took for screening. So the original list is here. And what I've done is I've gone through, and the ones that are in red with the strike through are projects that have been requested to be pulled out of our list. So we have the Broad Street streetscape and Pulse expansion in the city of Richmond. This is primarily streetscape improvements with the addition of an extension of the bus lanes, basically from Willow Lawn back towards phase 1, which was funded last round of Smart Scale. Commerce Road, this is a fall line segment. So it's a road diet through part of Commerce Road and then building the pedestrian and bike network all the way down to the split of Commerce Road. I-64 widening, this has been a constant submission for the past several rounds. I-95 and Route 10 in Chesterfield, this is a previous submission as well. The 360 widening, this is a recommendation from the AMP study for 360. So this is a Chesterfield project. The next two are 288 in Goochland. One is an Ox Lane from 250 down to Tuckahoe Creek Parkway. The second is the one that we've submitted the last couple rounds, which is the hard shoulder running southbound into Powhatan County at 711. The next one was also struck. So number 10, we had the overpass in Ashland. This is a DC to RVA. This is supporting higher speed rail. So this is essentially removing the at-grade crossing for the rail there. And then the last project is West Broad Street at Parham. This is a quadrant roadway configuration using skip width. So those are the projects that we have. As I showed on here, we have 3 that have been requested to be removed from the list already. So those 3 we need to find replacements for, and any others that anyone else would like to remove. Yes, Barb.
The 360 widening project is a project we plan to submit, so it would be eligible for both pots of money. So I'd recommend not submitting it, you guys not submitting it, because it would be a waste of an application.
Okay.
We sent our list of recommend. I'm hoping you'll replace it with another Chesterfield project, but yeah.
Sure. So to Barb's point, here is the list of the additional requests that we've received, which would help to replace any of those that have been pulled out. So we only received requests from Chesterfield and Henrico. So we have I-95 and Willis. This was a previous regional smart scale application in round 2, I think, or round 3. It's been a couple rounds. Courthouse 360. This has been a previous application as well. 360 Brad McNear CGT. This is the 288 360 study. This is a recommendation from that. Wood Lake Village Parkway triple Fs. This is also an AMP recommendation. And then we have 4 projects in Henrico. 2 of them have come out of previous studies. That's the 9 Mile Road improvements and the Williamsburg Road improvements. So these have been completed. We've had previous applications for these projects. The last 2 are part of the pipeline development, so they're not finalized yet. But Henrico is working to get those finalized that we'd be able to submit them for a pre-app if they're selected. So yes, Sharon.
So yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So yes, 9 Mile and Williamsburg were STAR studies. They are adjacent to the city of Richmond, and they were submitted for RRTPO CMAQ in a previous round in 2020 when there was no funding. But regarding 360 and the Parham improvements, we weren't looking for those to be submitted by the TPO. I know we had maybe we can cover this later, but if the Richmond the PDC had applications, that may be an opportunity to submit them with that. And yeah, I'll continue with your presentation.
Sure. Well, so this is really everything that we had. So this is the list of new potential candidates to replace those slots. And it looks like as of now, we have 4 empty slots. And obviously, if anything else comes up in the discussion, we can move things around as well. But we just wanted to make sure you had the starting list and the list of potential candidates. And I'm happy to answer any other questions anyone has, but otherwise we just wanted to open it up and let the discussion go from here.
Let's, Miles, or Kelly, if it's all right, I'm going to jump in real quick. Let's address the question that Sharon raised about possible PDC application slots. I don't think there's ever been an application by Plan RVA. There is some kind of general language in the smart scale guidelines about PDCs having additional applications, application slots. Our understanding is that in that definition that PDC is defined as any parts of the region that are outside the MPO boundary. And there are additional slots that are available depending on which PDC it is. But as of October of 2021, there is no PDC area outside the MPO boundary. So Jake or Nicole, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's any clarity that you can provide, and I don't know if it needs to be this morning, about if we do have any additional slots available, that would be great. But I think staff's going with the understanding that we have 12 right now, according to the pre-apps, and that's what we're working with, because there is no differentiation between MPO and PDC boundary.
Hi, yeah, Chet. I would move forward with 12. We can check with central office on the PDC guidelines, and then we can get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Hey, Miles, this is Barb.
Yes.
I just wanted to let folks know that of the 4 projects here that are listed for Chesterfield, our desire would be to have the 360 Brad McNear project ahead of Willis. Willis is like at the end of the list. So it would be 360 Brad McNear, then 360 Courthouse, then Woodlake, and then 95 Willis. So I just didn't want people to think that 95 Willis was our top priority recommendation for submittal by the TPO.
And this is Sharon with Enrico. And so 9 Mile and Williamsburg would be our top 2 to submit through the TPO. And if there are applications available for the PDC, or if that's an option, we could explore 360 and Parham for that. The reason we dropped from, or why we removed West Broad Street, Short Pump, and Staples Mill from the list, because we're going to submit them as a locality. And just think that would be better for scoring. We think they're great projects. And I also, not to put GRTC on the spot, but as we're shuffling as a region to look at applications, Sam, I'm not sure if you wanted to give an update about GRTC number of applications.
Sure. So we got word from DRPT last week that we will be allowed 10 applications based on the new census data. So we have offered Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield each 3 of those slots. At least 3 of those slots. We'll see if we we use one or not. We may open that last one up to them as well, but we have made that offer.
Thank you, Sam.
Miles, Brett, Chardine, Powhatan here. On the Hard Running Shoulder 288 project, I know when we applied for that before, we applied, I think it's 2 projects, one northbound, one southbound. I can't see if you go back to the slide, or just if you know, are we applying, if we go forward with this, for just one of those 2, or would it be both, or if one, why north versus south, or vice versa?
Sure. It's just southbound that was included in the staff recommended list. And that was the project that was submitted for CVTA regional funding, was the southbound direction. So again, going back to our potential for leveraging concept, that was the reason that one was recommended over the other direction.
Okay, I'm good with that, just curious.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Okay, so you're looking for us to swap out the 3 that were crossed out with 3 from this list, is my understanding.
I think Barb
Plus
is saying
the
there's
fourth one,
4.
yeah, the fourth one for Barb.
What's that? Can you
Sure, there
repeat
was
that, please?
a fourth project as well, which was, let me go back a slide. The Route 360 widening Wood Lake Village Parkway to Otterdale Road. So that one also like to be removed. So that leaves 4 open slots.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Miles, can you go to the next slide, please?
Just to keep things rolling, I would like to request that the 360 Brad McNear project and the 360 Courthouse Road R-Cut projects be added to the list.
And Enrico would like to request that Williamsburg and 9 Mile be added to the list.
Okay. Anybody have any issues or questions with that? All right, somebody want to make a motion if we're there?
I'll make a motion that we accept the staff recommendations minus the 4 projects, and those would be replaced by 360 Bragg McNear Green Tea Courthouse 360 R-Cut, 9 Mile Road, and Williamsburg Road improvements.
All right, thank you, Barb. Is there a second?
Sharon Smidler, second.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Any discussion? Okay. Should we do a voice vote, do you think, or roll call?
Let's do a roll call, please.
Okay, thank you. Janice, can you do a roll call, please?
Certainly. Miss Amos,
Aye.
Miss Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Vadunez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Smidler,
Aye.
Chair LeDuc,
Aye.
Mr. Shardine,
Aye.
Miss Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Dubinsky,
Aye.
Miss Sink,
Aye.
Mr. Parsons,
I'll abstain.
Mr. O'Keefe,
Aye.
and Miss Mueller.
Aye.
Thank you. That concludes the roll call for that item.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everybody. That was pretty easy. Any other discussion about Smart Scale before we go to other TAC member comments?
Just that, this is Sharon. If Jake Herman could keep us posted on the PDC, the TAC members, on what the determination is from central office, please.
Will do.
Yep, sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other TAC member comments? All right, guys. Well, thank you for making it, everybody. And I guess we'll see you March 8th for another virtual meeting, I'm presuming.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.